evil science and magic buddies.
Hello and welcome to the Cryptonaut Podcast presents Evil Science and Magic Buddies, the show within the show, the conspiracy of the conspiracy, the Crypto Roundtable Listener Stories, Part 26. My name is Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is
Uncle Bobby.
Uncle Rob. Thank you so much. And
Uncle Chris.
Uncle Chris.
Yeah.
All right, Uncle Chris, Uncle Rob.
We're all uncles.
There you go, Nephew Mark. We're all here.
Yeah.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you all for joining us. Yes, we are back with listener stories. We're going to be making this a more permanent part of our rotation. Once per month, we're going to stop in and do one of these. So if you have any experiences or things you want to share with us, you want us to talk about, email them to cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll put them in our list. And if we include them that week, we do. And we will email them and let you know. And yeah, feel free to share your stories with us. And boys, we'll be here talking about it.
Yeah,
We're doing it.
Yeah.
And we found a lot of, I got to give credit where credit's due. Mark has found a lot of connective tissue. You've discovered things that went back to the Copenhagen Devil, the Grey Ghost of Kinchifuni, Sam the Sandown Ghost Clown, most recently.
I may have a connective tissue here today. We're not sure. I'm not alive.
Oh, hot damn. Look at you.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Detective Storrs is on the case.
Reading emails is my thing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm fairly good at it.
No, you're sexy at it.
You know what? If I'm not unplugging a ship pump, I'm reading an email.
God damn.
There it is. So this first story here, Robert, that we're going to get started with, actually is coming to us from one of our Discord users and buddy over there on our Discord, which is available through Patreon at patreon.com/cryptonautpodcast from our buddy Cornfoot. And he had actually shared this during one of the campfires, and he's like, hey, man, I want to send this along. If you guys want to use this for listener stories, feel free. And I figured, you know what, it was a great little encounter here, so I figured this would be perfect for our listener stories.
Fucking phenomenal.
Let's do it.
In the late fall of 2018, I was employed by a large private ambulance service in Southwest Virginia, where you could go from downtown to Cornfield in 20 minutes or less. That's a lot like here, except it's downtown to Cornfield in 3 minutes or less.
And don't forget, in the middle, there's Walmart.
Yeah, of course.
And a GameStop.
I mean, no society's dying.
That's not even in the middle. That's at the end.
That is at the end.
Walmart to Cornfield is like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's true.
Actually, GameStop to Cornfield is probably about 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you're going at a decent clip.
Yeah.
We have a lot of corn around here.
Well, tons of
A
corn.
lot of cows, dairy.
Cow.
Cheese.
Yeah.
There's a cheese trail, if you didn't know where we are.
Wow. I didn't actually know
Yeah,
that.
there's a cheese trail. There's
They
a wine
pair it with
trail,
a wine trail?
a beer trail, and a cheese trail.
You walk
we are
on the
lucky.
trail of
Yeah,
cheese.
we're fucking lucky.
And then you pick it up as you walk the trail, and you can eat the cheese.
That's all the good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
And corn. There's not a corn trail.
There's not a corn
That would be pointless.
So Cornfoot, we get where you're coming
The
from.
corn battles of 88.
Nice.
I worked the 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift. That is tough. Primarily running interfacility transports with the occasional bout of excitement. The idea of the 2 p.m. shift is to cover for the downtime at shift change. In reality, it meant we got sent on the out-of-town trips. In this particular case, the patient had been airlifted from West Virginia to Southwest Virginia due to the presence of our level 1 trauma center. That must have been a bad scene.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
Our job was to return them to a facility closer to home for their recovery. That's a good sign. Now that they were no longer in critical condition, we made the 5-hour drive up there and get a heads up before we head back that the highway is terrible, so we route through the back roads. Mistake number one. Always mistake number one.
Yeah,
terrible highway.
Stay on the path.
Still monster free.
Yeah, you're better off getting stuck in traffic than getting stuck in the face from a monster. Talons, claws, wings.
Name them all.
Fangs.
A party.
Yeah.
A fucking
Stab.
hell.
Stab, face, stab.
Stab, face, stab.
There you go.
At roughly 1 a.m., we were about an hour and a half from base, meaning that we were excited to reach home so we can unload our truck and bounce before dispatch drops something else on us. Somewhere between Catawba and the not a VFW, a fucking West Virginia border, we're screaming through the woods at roughly 60 miles an hour. Looking out my window, I watch the scenery pass. Cornfields, trees, open field, trees on repeat. Feeling the tiring haze of the 11th hour fall across my eyes and noticing how close we are to the edge of the roadway, I look to my partner to ensure he is awake enough to get us down the mountain ahead. I see his eyes are glued to the road ahead, assuring me of our safety. Before that thought even finishes properly forming, a flicker of movement draws my eyes out of his open window. There beside his window is an odd undulating shape, catching what little moonlight there is. What appears to be a large bird, wings flapping. This motherfucker is not only keeping pace with our speeding boo-boo bus. Oh, Jesus Christ. I think that's what I'll be calling ambulances from now on.
The old boo-boo
boo-boo
bus.
It's doing so while appearing to fly sideways. On the underside of each apparent wing is what I can only describe as a retro-reflective eye spot. At some points in the stroke of its flight, it would glint a dull white light while pointing directly at us. It glowered an intense dark red, about the color of steel when heated between 1400 and 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm thinking like a reflective spot that that maybe you're supposed to have so that when predators see you, they think you're gigantic because your eyes are so big. And maybe they mean like, and I'm only guessing here, like the way the metallic sheen on a peacock's feathers,
Right.
where if you see it from one angle, it's like bluish, and the other angle, it's greenish, depending on how the light's hitting it or fucking whatever.
Yeah, and the size of the speed of this thing keeping up with them.
Yeah, 60 miles per hour
really,
is no joke.
Really interesting.
Especially
really interesting.
For what is ostensibly a larger animal. I don't think he's really describing something that's typically bird-sized.
No.
But we haven't gotten a size yet, I don't think.
No, but sideways too?
Yeah, flying sideways is really weird.
Yeah, I mean, because as you know, was it Ryan Graves? I wish I could remember the name of his podcast that I endorsed the other week. But one of the pilots that saw the East Coast UFOs, the circle cube things, he points out all the time that when something turns on its side, it no longer has any lift. Like you don't need an aerospace degree to know that like that's cutting.
Yeah,
and gravity owns you then. Instead of,
if it's
gliding.
kind of flapping and then it just kind of goes to the side like that, but then continues to flap. But that's just it. To keep that pace is really weird.
So many of these things defy gravity. Like the Mothman's flight capabilities.
Yeah, I didn't want to go there.
Are not typical.
No,
they are atypical of Earthican creatures.
Yes, he doesn't even flap his wings,
and sometimes he doesn't flap.
He just shoots straight up,
and that's a dick move because that's like just showing off.
I mean, you have wings
clearly.
Yep, VTOL Mothman.
Unless he is Jesus Christ made of if he's made of helium and hollow bones, there is no way that bulky ass body is being lifted even by a 20-foot wingspan.
No,
not in Earth's gravity.
But you know why though?
I don't.
Danzig-esque legs.
Yeah, that's true. The sturdy, because you just get a lot of lift because of the first hop.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all you get. Though.
They're only 3'1", but those are some fucking muscular ass legs.
Mystery solved.
There you go.
All right. So this lasted several seconds while I struggle to evaluate what I'm seeing. I look out the front windshield to attempt and determine our location, and when I looked back, there's nothing there. I sit for a moment contemplating whether I just hallucinated due to my exhausted state. Mid-thought, my partner looks over at me and asks quietly, "Rogers, did you see that?"
That's the worst part when someone's like, "You fucking seeing this shit?" You're like, "God, I thought I was tired. God damn my eyes."
Yeah, damn my eyes.
Why?
I signal the affirmative and my partner rolls up his window wordlessly. Good call. I ask him what he saw. He describes my own recounting to a T, except for the fact that he could have likely reached out and touched it. I flip on the scene floods and light up the surrounding woodlands, but our bewinged beast is nowhere to be found. We must have been quite a sight. A 6'2" corn-fed country boy and a 6'3" Samoan powerlifter, like frightened children refusing to rest in the dark, doors locked with floodlights on in every direction, super dangerous if anyone else were on the road, but we turned them off when we reached the nearest town and before we encountered another motorist. Weeks later, my partner informed me that he has spoken to some of the company's other crews that run in the area. When he asked, "While you guys are out northwest of Catawba, have you ever seen ... The unnamed EMT cut him off and described the creature we witnessed exactly as we would. I know of no other local stories like this. Is this entity just harassing ambulances? Much love from the mountains." Much love back to you.
So that thing being close enough where his partner could actually reach out and touch it,
that's disturbing,
is even weirder. So,
dude, it gives off just, I picture like in any sci-fi movie when somebody's driving, if it's like a police or something, do you get some weird drone that flies sideways and comes up and checks your shit out? You know what I mean?
Right. And then
That's
just
what it
keeps-
reminds me of. Like,
Right.
I mean, they say that it has
that scene.
that it has wings though. So I mean,
So let's go back and like just grab
I'm not
as
saying
many
it's
details
a future
as possible.
robot, but I'm just saying. And,
Not
like, the
saying
sideways things.
future-
I mean, that is physically not possible.
no, like I
Birds
was-
don't fly sideways.
No, the only thing I could think of is like if that
Yeah,
thing
only
was,
if they're turning quick.
if it was
Yeah,
popping
like
its
they don't-
wings and it went. But yeah, if it went sideways, wouldn't it be turning
It
out?
didn't say it flew and then turned. It said it did. It kept pace while it was sideways.
Yeah.
So it did the whole
Huh.
fucking time, which is not a thing.
No. That this did though, like as far as being like in Virginia here. I think he mentions too where they were in Virginia, Southwest Virginia. But I mean, we all know what is in Virginia, in West Virginia to be exact.
Yep.
It is
the
Mothman.
headless horror of Grafton,
And the Mothman.
and the Flatwoods Monster,
Well, I was
and
going
the
for
Vegetable Man.
the-
All right, it's not a one-state cryptid. Okay,
It has Robert context clues. It has wings.
all right, fine.
What in West Virginia has wings?
I'm just saying. Let's not forget all of West Virginia's other esteemed cryptids.
The fucking Grafton monster
robots.
is not going to grow wings and terrorize these two while in an ambulance.
Prove it. I tried to confirm, and my case was it's the pupa form of a Mothman. That's why it's so big and lumbering.
Oh shit!
It's the walking pupa.
I forgot the pupa.
So,
Fuck.
all right, there's fucking Mothman.
Yeah,
And that's
our possibility.
that's something you can't take off the table. But nothing about this indicates Mothman. First off, Mothman was described as a big bird initially because that's the first thing you think of when you see an ambulatory flying thing, unless you're thinking a bat, I guess.
right.
But large bird, wings flapping. It kept pace with the boo boo bus
Yeah.
while appearing to fly sideways, as we pointed out. I'm still a little caught up on
The weird things.
Yeah.
The
retro-reflective eye
with the-
spots that would glint dull white in the light while pointing directly at us. It glowed an intense dark red,
So it was changing colors from white to red.
which again could be a reflective thing.
Could be.
And if it was biological, that's the one thing that makes sense.
Yeah, biologically. Okay, so biologically that would.
Or my weird future drone.
Or your weird
okay,
future
all right. Well,
drone.
listen, we are never
I'm
taking
saying.
weird future drone
Like,
off the.
No.
The more you read about
future-
him, I'm like, this. I don't feel like it's biological.
but future, but it has
It just doesn't-
wings.
So what? So do birds of prey in Star Trek.
But the Klingon ship.
Yeah. And the Romulan ship. They all got fucking wings.
They have
Okay,
wings.
okay, all right, you're right.
Unnecessary wings.
All right, it's a
Laser beak from the Transformers has fucking wings.
It's a smaller version of a
Swoop,
bird.
the Dinobot has wings.
I think it's case closed.
Was Swoop the fucking pterodactyl?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I sucked. Man, fuck that. Fuck that.
It was
guy.
dope. What do you
Dino
mean?
boats were
he's
dino
fucking- I
boats.
don't know.
Jesus Christ. Titanic.
The other interesting thing here, and yes, the white to red thing is super fucking.
Weird.
It's just bizarre. Yeah,
Everything about it's bizarre. I would wish that I had a size estimation.
Yeah.
That is throwing me out because if it's just bird sized, and then it's got but why would two grown men be terrified by
bird.
a normal bird? Even
Yeah.
flying. All right, so flying sideways is weird. Too close enough to touch,
right.
and the weird reflective pattern on its wings. All of which would be weird and would strike you as odd, but you wouldn't think would terrify two grown-ass men that are used to dealing with harrowing emergency situations. So I'm trying to figure was it the size? What was it that drove it over the point? Unless, of course, this so many other cryptids and particularly extraterrestrial encounters have some sort of, I mean, if you want to be fanciful, you could call it a mesmer or something, but if you want to be more practical, some sort of maybe sub-audible sound that creates an uneasy feeling in the people and the things around it as a safety, a defense
Kind of like
mechanism.
the Mothman with the zone of fear.
Yeah.
The zone
the
of
zone of fear.
That might be. I just think when you see something that does not match with the reality that we all know, it's fucking weird.
Disconcerting. Yeah.
And it doesn't
no
even
matter
have to be
what.
out of control.
Right.
If you saw an upside down bird or something, you'd be like that would just disturb the fuck out of some people.
That's
It's just
fair.
It's true.
Something very simple.
You're
So
right.
When you just see some weird shit going like this
Especially
sideways,
being at night
it's
like
weird.
that too is really fucking bizarre. I mean, obviously there are larger birds. Oh my, did I tell you guys about the whole bald eagle thing that happened to me? This is the most American goddamn thing in the world. Holy shit.
Did you befriend a bald eagle?
No, it actually pulled its bald eagle dick out, and I had to drive around it because it was so fucking. It was so
bald eagles
so
on the
bald
road.
eagle-ish, yeah, dude. I fucking was. I was like, you good sir can land here. I was driving to somewhere Saturday morning, and a fucking bald eagle, like one from Montezuma, was in the middle of Lake Ave with a squirrel. Crushing it. I could see it crushing it with its talons on the ground. I'm like, oh my God. And it just looked at me. It looked at my truck, America's truck.
It looked at you like
it was like,
this is my fucking squirrel.
And it was like, get the fuck away from me, America's truck. And I went around it and I was kind of like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I saluted it.
There's like
I paid my taxes. And
Are you sure it was an eagle?
It was definitely an eagle for sure. Because they're so fucking. The goddamn thing was the size of a small child.
There's
huge.
3 things that can out America your truck. Number 1 is an eagle.
This thing out America'd me. It was crazy.
An eagle, Six Flags, and Chris Kyle. The only 3 things
that can
out America your truck.
Nice. Large birds. My point is that large birds are a thing. Like here in town, we have a huge population of those fucking nasty ass turkey vultures.
Sure.
They hang out on that cell tower over near Wegmans. They're fucking disgusting. One chased you once.
Well, maybe, or a baby dactyl.
Okay. Still,
I'm just saying. It's
still
up there.
There are larger birds. The reflective thing is interesting. The other part of this encounter that I was kind of like, that's kind of odd, is that other people are experiencing this. So whatever's going on out there, other ambulance crews are like, oh yeah, no, we see that fucker too.
So why is it attracted to this?
So I'm
like,
wondering.
Is it the lights?
I was wondering, dude, is it the lights, or is it kind of like, remember the Mothman story with the Bloodmobile?
Where the UFO came down with tentacles and tried to like literally kidnap
what if
an
they're
entire
going
Bloodmobile?
after whatever's in the ambulance? It's kind of like a weird, dude, it's like a carrion bird, a bird of prey, like Chris said. It's
like
there.
It smells the blood of leftover victims.
Cryptid vulture, and it's there to fucking just pick away at your eyes and
it didn't do anything.
Well, no, it didn't. It was flying.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking.
So like I'm like, what's the goal? If the goal is to feast on the blood of the innocent,
thinking
then
why would other
a lot.
ambulance crews be experiencing this? What is in common? They're all ambulance drivers.
Yeah.
What do ambulances generally do? Deliver people to places, to hospitals that are in mortal danger.
That's fair.
No, they do. If there's somebody in there and they're not on their way.
Oh, they didn't have anybody in there. Fuck.
There could be drops of blood on the ground.
Or
These things could have great noses,
or
great
maybe
robot
it's
noses.
just how they fucking. I'm clearly going to this is how they hunt. This is how they
predate.
This is how they predate on humans.
You're going predator.
I am going predator.
So you think like the Daredevil, like the first one in this like pack of like fucking super crows, which we all know are like highly intelligent, and they've evolved to have like patches of reflective light. They try to get in the fucking driver's eyes, disturb them with the red white, fucking send them off the road. Once the ambulance crashes, the rest of the fucking flock swoop down and feed.
This could just be a single bird, man.
No, I'm thinking it's a feeding flock. Go with my theory. I
okay,
supported yours.
Right. Okay, all right. No, you're right. You're
Dick farm.
I'm sorry. I appreciate your contribution. I appreciate you.
I mean, it could be.
It's a plan.
Okay.
Why else have these patches on your wings if not to blind the driver, terrify him into a tree?
But they're not in the driver; they're on the side.
But it was on the side of the driver's side
the driver,
window.
because the driver said he could like reach out and touch it.
Right.
What if that thing flew in, pecked his eyes out?
We'd
be dealing with a very different story.
I feel like it's too big to fly in.
It could be.
I feel like it's pretty.
We just don't
big.
know.
We don't.
It's interesting.
I mean, also too skeptically speaking, clearly this could be
a bird.
Okay, maybe, possibly a bird.
Just a fucking bird.
We actually once investigated. Do you remember this? We investigated out in Homer, New York, where there was those weird lights that were in the sky, and we actually saw them. And one of the explanations. Remember one of the explanations? What it was that we were actually seeing the reflection off of ducks.
Yes.
And we were like, no. It was UFO. We saw that.
We did.
We didn't know what the fuck it was.
We saw the twinkles.
We saw those weird twinkles.
The colors, the oscillating like fucking Simon colors from that old fucking memory game from the 80s.
We were all there. We all saw it. But once I got that goddamn duck thing in my head, I'm like, we're just looking at ducks. Oscillating Simon like ducks.
Dude, it was a nice night of duck watching.
It's true. Either way, it's a win-win.
Do you remember that? Like, I think our buddy Steve hooked us up with that guy, but like the guy wasn't actually at his house.
Yeah.
And we just kind of like were hanging out.
Lounging on his front lawn.
It was just
in the middle of farm
the dark
country.
on some weird kind of hill type thing.
Yeah. And we're just
middle
there,
of
like,
nowhere.
watching. And we did see it though. So that was kind of cool. But that made me think of this too, that something in the dark that could be like reflecting light. Now, granted, they're in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia Mountain Mama. wherever they're at here, while the cornfields. So, okay, what could the source of light be? Possibly something on the farm.
Oh, the ambulance itself.
The
headlights of the ambulance itself. I don't know if it has side lights.
Yeah, but something would be reflecting back where they actually have to be able to see it.
I think if we're going to really be pragmatic about it, the very least we could say is that it's a misidentified bird. Middle of the ground is that it's a new species of crow or raven or something that has these unique spots that reflect light in different ways that are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, we get information on the size and he's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mention it's 6.5 feet fucking long, which changes everything. It still could be time tech. Future robot. I'm throwing Chris in.
Okay,
in
all right. I appreciate it.
Birds don't fly sideways.
But it could also be
hence future tech.
No, think of this. If Tic Tac drones, the ones that fucking scared the Nimitz folks so much, are a United States technology, or heaven forfend a foreign adversary, what better than to throw like some gimpy ass bird suit on it, give it some, rudimentary mechanical wings. It doesn't matter if it flies sideways, right up, right down. If you're just testing like a 12-inch long version of the Tic Tac that can defy gravity, go in water, out of water, go 1,000 miles per hour, then it could have just been testing it with this like really fucking garbage crow suit, and it slips off to the side, and then it looks like it's flying sideways.
You're dressing up the
and then it's got like the little symbols on the side of whatever fucking company made it, and they're only seeing it in the light real quick, and it's like it's red and white. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Go.
Dressing up a drone
as a baby crow.
Dude, I mean, people did that like for Halloween. They put like this witches on drones and skeletons and fly them around.
True.
I mean, people do that.
True.
It's not like it's not.
I mean, and it is
happens.
2018, so the drone tech is clearly, and when this story was when this happened to him, so that is a thing. Okay, there's a lot of possibilities there. I'm going to just stick with it. It was a Mothman. And you can't tell me that it wasn't.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I will try because there's nothing Mothman about
flying
this.
Humanoid creature, flying creature.
No one said humanoid. You are adding shit now.
Damn it, flying creature. I retract humanoid. I'm sorry.
If I may fucking quote, large bird, wings flapping.
I apologize.
Sideways. There's no account of Mothman flying sideways. Mark.
Never won.
Son of a bitch. You know what? You're right. I was wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. Fuck you, it's still Mothman. How about that, though?
Wow.
I'll die on this hill.
All right, fair enough.
Leave me, you know what? Leave me on this hill to die. Tell my wife and children I
see you later.
Yeah.
Fucker, you're going to leave me?
You're going to be so cold and alone on the Mothman hill.
Don't say leave me if you don't want us to leave you.
I know. Don't tempt.
It was drama. You're supposed to come back for me.
You're coming back.
You always come back.
Because next hill over is old baby drone hill.
No, we start leaving
Dressed
and
as a
then
crow.
when we're like 100 feet away, then you yell out and be like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
And that's why we're walking slow. First off, Chris and I
right.
don't like to walk fast, but we're also walking slow to give you a chance to rethink.
Yeah,
okay,
because we
fine.
know that you're going to be like, all right. And
Yeah, no,
fucking,
but God,
And you're going to be
come get
scared
me.
alone on
These
Mothman
slow
Hill.
walking fuckers are going to take forever to come back.
You're going to run out of ho-hos in like 10 minutes.
No, you're going to run to catch up with us, you idiot.
Oh shit! All right, there it is. Thank you, Cornfoot, for sending that in. And yeah, man, creepy, weird, fucking birds and shit. Which what was the? Well, I was also thinking of real quick Thunderbird, but that's more like Texas, Mexico area, right?
I mean, they're all Illinois. They are.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they're not.
They
Just,
do the whole
and that's
Midwest
more like a Native
gambit.
American, like
Sure.
Like,
But it also might be based on like some prehistoric super condor too.
right, some big giant ass bird.
Yeah.
So hey, whatever, dude. In the dark, giant birds are fucking scary. Thank you, Robert. Moving on here to our next story. This is coming to us from. We're just going to keep this at anonymous because I didn't get necessarily clearance to use this person's name. We can obviously all see his name here, but we're just going to say anonymous. And yeah, let's take it away.
Oh man, look, we're going into taboo territory. We're just taking your stories now.
It was sent in.
Yes,
so
it was. Okay.
I prefer to err on the side of caution when it comes to people's names.
It makes sense. I don't believe in anything supernatural or hooky pooky.
like,
Yep.
like, and then you turn yourself around.
Yeah,
That's
what
what
it's
it's
all
all
That
about.
one does
All
the
right.
hooky pooky.
It's hooky pokey actually, so it's even better.
Pokey, I
But I've
love
never said, if anyone ever came to me, your podcast, that hokey pokey thing you guys
love
are doing,
it.
I'd be like, God damn it, you nailed it.
I love hokey pokey. It's my fucking favorite.
Fucking wow.
All right.
All the way around. The only reason I'm writing is there is such little information available. Your podcast about Dump Cat was sadly one of the only things on the internet mentioning Catman. Oh, I see I see what you did.
Oh, shit.
Also, I just wrote a fucking novel of a message and accidentally deleted or sent it to you. So if this is a duplicate, my apologies. I have done that.
It was actually a duplicate, which is totally fine. Sometimes the contact form can get a little.
Then you can compare and contrast, make sure the story fucking adds up the same way.
Everything was the same.
I'm sure. I'm just messing. I consider myself a skeptical, rational, progressive realist with deep-seated Appalachian tendencies. So while being a productive member of society, holding an adult job as a manager at a warehouse, I still have more cars on blocks in the front yard and a dog or two that's day house is an old truck topper. That's not bad.
Yeah.
You could live in worse places.
I mean, honestly.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. And yes, I do recreationally do drugs and drink, and it's probably fair to say that some of the people who I've engaged in my research with also do too. However, most of them don't at all. That's fair.
Okay.
That's a fair assessment of the paranormal community.
It's a wide variety of drug use.
Quite a few do.
It's okay.
Quite a few don't.
Yeah.
And this story didn't start while waiting on that 10 strip of acid I ate to wear off. That's fair.
There you go.
It started stone cold sober around 4 p.m. on my way to work when I was driving around this sharp, dangerous curve in the road a few hundred yards from my house, and I saw this tall, slender, black-haired, covered man with arms almost down to his knees standing right by the road. My first thought was, what's with this dumb fuck? And what the fuck is this clown wearing? But when I realized that what I was looking at, I slammed the brakes and watched it turn and disappear into the woods. I thought to myself, it was a guy in a costume, or my eyes must have been playing tricks on me, or maybe flashbacks are real after all. But as any rational person would, I figured there was some reasonable explanation, be it costume, shadows, or lighting, and thought it was weird, but brushed it off and never thought of it again. Really, until this week when my neighbor said she saw a cat man in her yard.
We got Catman
just out of the blue.
Dude, we thought the Wacomico Catman was a singular. There's Catmen.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that.
And children and all kinds of shit.
Because it goes back to Native American legends,
Yep.
Algonquin legends, if I'm not mistaken, and others, at least in the Maryland area, which is the original dump cat, the Wacomico
Back in
dump cat.
1980, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a fascinating encounter. So there'd have to be a breeding population of sorts. But this also strikes a different note or a different thought in my head, which is, how often does this happen? Like, I've told the story because we do a fucking monster-based, fun paranormal podcast about when Peyton and I saw that weird fucking three-legged, it looked like trunked sloth thing that was like dusty white with like a tube coming out the back and a tube coming out front. It looked like it must have been a trunk and a thick tail dragging what appeared to be a dead cat while I was taking her around after 9 p.m. when she was just 16 with her driver's permit. And of course I was like, you got to turn around fucking immediately. It was dragging this like carcass of a cat, it looked like, down a driveway.
Yeah.
And the 3-point turn skills on somebody that's literally driving for the third time is not extraordinary. And I tried to be cool because I realized that I was going to build her confidence for the future. But I'm also like, bitch, that's a monster. That's my shit.
You're right. We got to know.
I got to know.
It's either a monster or an opossum.
Yeah, like the most mutated opossum.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing that came to mind. But I know what possums look like. I've seen plenty of those nasty fucks, those crack-addicted shitheels.
Or calm down.
I'm not a big fan of opossums.
They help us as people.
Okay, whatever you want to say. This is not the time.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
not. You can find another hill. You're already dying on Mothman Hill. You're gonna fucking die on Opossum Hill too. So fucking
same hill, fucker.
So this fucking thing is dragging something away, and that's fine. And then we talked about it the whole rest of the night. Like, I'm driving around, I take her, I make her go through the drive-through for the first time, buy her some fries, hang out, we have a burger, and we're just talking. I'm like, that's some fucked up shit and la la. So at that point, we run AmericanMonsters.com. It's before we were doing this podcast. We might have been doing the last one, and I was just like, oh man, that's pretty incredible. And I take the time to care about it because this has been such a big part of all of our lives.
Right.
But for those that it's not, for the average dad driving home from work or any fill in the blank, billions of other people that might have seen that, you see that, you think, oh shit, what was that? You might even want to spin around, but this thing was dragging that corpse fast and it was gone. And then you just don't think of it again. Then your mind's like, no, it had to be two cats dragging it or something. Like, what I thought was this weird oblong, trunked-tailed, three-legged, awkwardly limping corpse dragger it had to have been a traditional thing. And then you think, oh, okay, it's a possum or an opossum if you prefer. And then you dismiss it. So when this guy talks about, and I know I've digressed longer than I intended to, like I didn't think about it again. And you think to yourself, how the fuck do you see a tall feline thing?
Yeah.
That's infinitely more dramatic than what I saw.
Right.
But I bet you this happens so often. I've often said that maybe 1 out of every 30 anomalous sightings are reported. I think that's a very conservative number.
Maybe,
a very conservative
you
number.
just see some
probably.
weird shit and you're probably just like, oh, that's fucked up, and then just keep going.
And you just keep going with your life. Because, I mean, that doesn't pay the bills, this weird shit. It doesn't help you go to bed at night. It doesn't get you laid. It doesn't fucking order you pizza. Nothing about this helps you, so you just let it go.
No, I mean,
I mean, I've only seen like a handful of anything that I could consider weird in my life. I've never reported any of it.
Right.
Because why? It's just too personal. You're like, why would I?
One time when Chris and I were together
move on.
for a UFO
Oh,
sighting,
yeah, that's right.
We weren't the ones that reported it.
Yeah.
Not he or I would be bothered to call it in.
Yeah.
But the people we were with
they
did their due diligence.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things because you'd think just when you read this, you think like, oh, the fucking dramatics, but then you're like, no, you're probably just seeing, you're like, oh, it's fucking weird,
because that's what most shit is.
Yeah,
and you just move on. So back to Catmanville. He sees it. That's weird. Why is this asshat in a suit? But it's not. Then the neighbor comes up and is like, oh yeah, I saw a Catman in my yard, and then that triggers like, well, shit. Corroboration.
Yeah.
Because if the next day I was driving through the neighborhood and I saw a lady outside getting her paper, and I did drive by the next day and I saw nobody, I would have been like, you have ever seen anything weird? And if she said something, then that would have built.
Yeah.
So now it's good that he had this moment where a neighbor confided in him is what I'm saying.
Yep.
I inquired, sorry about that long pause, forgot the next line, and reluctantly shared my sighting. She went on to mention that another neighbor had seen it too. Turns out she saw it 3 times, once in the same spot that I did. Now my head is spinning and I'm floored. What the fuck is with this Catman? I started talking to the neighbor she mentioned and then to others. It turns out dozens of people have seen this Catman creature over the past 40 years, all in the same small area.
Dude.
Long live fucking Catman.
Dude,
or a fucking a family.
You know, cats bang a lot, so it's a generational catman.
It would make more
cat
sense.
People.
Like cat litters in the same area. I don't know how many baby cats you'd have in the fucking Catman litter.
I don't know,
3,
man.
4, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know the nature of the catman.
I don't know either.
No.
I mean, big cats can have, one to fucking a bunch.
Yeah, but Catman.
Kitten, like normal cats can have like fucking 47.
I
it
know,
seems like.
Jesus, there's so many goddamn kittens.
All right.
Well, we'll see what happens.
No one wants to bring it up, and they are reluctant, to talk about seeing it. No one wants to be the nutcase that claims to have seen a Catman. But sightings in this approximately 150 square acre area go back to the 80s, and the furthest sightings are about 2 miles as the crow flies. I've talked to neighbors who have shot at it, been chased by it, grabbed by it, and one who hit it in the head with a stick when it was attacking him and his sister as a teen. Many have just caught glimpses, while others have had long standoffs with it. But all the stories corroborate with each other, the only variation being its height, which range from 5 to 7 feet tall, making me wonder if there may be more than one. Me too. Because a 2-foot disparity is a pretty big one.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking 40 years,
I mean, it would have time to grow.
And it's not in a large area,
right?
That everyone's seeing this thing. Which, man, that's actually a really small area.
Yeah, 150 square acres.
You think about it, like it's not really very big.
I mean, you can't have a huge breeding population there. Like, I wonder how densely wooded it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we talk about. We have the mutant deer out in the.
Oh yeah,
right.
Like
that are all
in
albino
Rome,
because they're enclosed and they just.
Was it in Rome or was it in like Utica?
Other. No, it's west.
Is it west?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was on like a military base or something like that they had them. Or am I thinking of something?
No, it's
else?
out like west toward like the wine trails.
Okay, huh?
I think I've heard about it on a military base too, though, Mark.
Yeah.
It's probably more than one place.
Is it like Romulus or something like
get
that?
stuck
yeah.
and inbreed.
Okay,
it was a correctional facility or something, and I don't think a military base, but or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe this is this own little Catman breeding ground.
That's what I'm saying.
Little Catpan.
It's crazy though. I mean, I mean, I mean, attacking you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Chasing is one thing, trying to scare you off. Because you don't know. Cats are bright. Cats are obviously very bright for, lesser mammals, whatever you want to call them. I'm sorry if you're a cat lover. I love cats too. I don't mean to call them lesser, but you know what I mean. For things that weren't created with God's love, with a soul, is what I'm saying. In case everyone didn't understand.
Right.
Good definition.
So, fucking cats are fucking
Christ.
awesome. And they're very bright creatures. And if you add like semi-human intelligence on top of it, you might get a clusterfuck, a cacophony of chaos.
It would just be the most chaotically minded creature in the fucking world.
It could be the
It would
most
hate
brutal
you
killing
one
machine.
minute, love you the next, climb on your back while you piss.
Oh, it'll purr on your
there
corpse.
you go.
And then eat your face again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fucked up.
Shit in your lungs. At least where they were.
Nice litter box.
Your chest
Oh
cavity.
God! It'll only shit on the carpets in your studio. It'll shit nowhere
Oh,
else,
my
just
God.
in the carpet.
Fucking cats.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, I love them.
Oh God,
Those
those carpets
fucking
were
dicks.
more fucking shit than carpet.
They really were. Well, part puke too.
Oh yeah, no, actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was held together puke and
It
shit.
was mostly
4 fibers.
No, it really was.
continuing Robert.
Everyone's descriptions match. Thin tail with thick black hair, long arms and tail, human hands and feet with a cat-like face and a head, stands upright but runs with all 4 legs like a very fast car. I am using a phrase that is not being that's not been written by the fucking poster. I'm just call it a very fast car. I'm desperately looking for a logical explanation. I want it to be a mutation from an incestual thinning gening pool of a group of mountain lions that have been attending the same mountain lion orgy for generations.
That's we were just talking about the
yeah,
deer.
there it is.
If it was,
I mean, it's a good theory.
if there was a breeding population there are not very many branches on that tree.
And I'll say this too. I mean, this breeding population is not going to develop human-like characteristics and fucking, I mean, incest doesn't deserve any props anyway, but to further fucking turd on this idea, you aren't going to get the superseding next level of your species
Right,
by
it's-
inbreeding.
It's not going to cause.
generally,
it's
no.
not going to cause an evolution.
If it worked that way,
If they are just cat,
I'm not even going to single out any states.
if it is a species of this cat man, this humanoid cat though, and they're just breeding amongst themselves,
Right.
then I mean, wouldn't you eventually just like breed yourself out of existence?
Oh,
Like,
you'd breed yourself stupid. You'd breed yourself a royal family, basically, with
Yeah.
lots of congenital defects, and lots of diseases,
there wouldn't be
brain developmental issues, all
what,
sorts
what
of
if
shit.
it's just what if it's just a family that was trapped in there, like X-Files or something, and they just like kill pumas, and do they just wear cat?
Oh,
They're just like a can of the cat
So
people.
So you're not taking inbreeding off the
Oh.
table, but it's like human
No.
inbreeding
It's humans instead.
combined with creative taxidermy fashion.
dude, with a bit of theater, if you will.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Like,
they're
just-
wearing fucking on the land.
right. They glue it to their body with excrement, so they're all
man.
dark, and they
This is
stick
like-
fucking and they dye the puma skins.
That's part of their thing.
Dude, this is kind of like some weird Hills Have Eyes type thing too. Then
If that were the
they're
case.
just wearing fucking Puma outfits.
On the other hand, if you're having a long standoff with one of these things, being attacked by it to the point where you have to whack it about the head and neck with a stick,
Yeah,
you can tell the difference between a shit-covered cat hat wearing dude and a fucking
These people
feral
have
cat
mastered the technique over generations.
oh. I didn't realize. So they're like method
It's
actors,
yeah.
fully committed.
of creative taxidermy. Okay, all right. Well, let's see where let's see where this goes.
All right.
All right.
So I want it to make sense, but as of now, I can't. And I'm going, excuse me, I'm not going to dedicate my life to this or lose much sleep. And I can dismiss it as strange and brush it off. But for fuck's sake, so many people have seen it, and I have too. I want answers so bad. We are located in Berkeley County, West Virginia, sharing a border with Virginia and Maryland, and being about an hour and a half from D.C. and Baltimore. That's real close to like properly industrialized urban landscape.
Yeah, totally.
The area we live in is on the Tuscarora Indian Trail, which is the Native American equivalent of the I-95, and the area is rich in Civil War and Revolutionary War history, but that's irrelevant because I don't buy that supernatural shit. Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but now because of the location here, they are near the original Catman sighting.
Yeah, that was in
Because
it was definitely in Maryland.
It was in Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
and that's right in the territory where the Algonquin claimed
Yeah.
that these creatures existed and killed people. So, I mean, that offers historical, albeit folkloric, precedent.
Sure.
But
that's still something.
And another possible sighting of the Catman.
Right. And if they did have like a broader breeding population when it was completely undeveloped land, and I'm sure many other creatures live there, it's easy to poo-poo it because it's East Coast.
Right.
It's been fucking colonized and quote unquote civilized for so many centuries now.
Mhm.
Much pre the bicentennial of 76. That you're like, how the fuck can anything exist? But pockets of creatures exist. They manage to find ways to thrive in cities, even if they, their whole habitat's been decimated.
Yeah.
Some go extinct. Others are troopers and figure out a way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't count it out, is what I'm saying.
No, and there's definitely plenty of areas for these things, like you said, to like live in. Apparently, it's in this 150 square acre,
Right. I mean, if
That's
it's
where they're
one
doing it.
family, 40 years is not that much.
No, not really.
I mean, it's weird for me to think of the 80s as that long ago, but it's still like, I mean, that's a reasonable span of time for one family of like itinerant fucking cat people to manage to eke out a living eating the fucking voles and mice and whatever the fuck garbage that's around.
Yeah.
Make, maybe a couple of kids and just try to occupy this relatively small space. You would not have a vast breeding population there because then the sightings would be off the fucking chart.
Right. But just enough to keep their numbers up, but also to keep the discretion down when it's fucking laying low. Okay.
And I mean, does that just mean it's a very small breeding population, or in an intelligence saying we have to be really cautious because our species, as far as I know, are on the line. And if we want to continue, we better be hyper aware.
Dude,
but then again, that's not, you don't fucking attack random teenagers if you want to stay hidden.
But dude,
because you kill one of them, then everyone's hunting for, even if they're hunting for traditional pumas, they're going to find you and kill you.
We learned this lesson. Do you know what we learned this lesson from?
Traditional pumas.
Oh, you mean fucking the city of the monsters created by Clive Barker?
Fucking the monsters live in
Midian.
Midian.
Yeah, David Cronenberg is the serial
killer.
killer.
It was in the middle of a goddamn cemetery. Midian.
It was in underground catacombs.
Yeah.
Beneath the cemetery.
Yes, which there could be in this area where these things live underground.
I mean, we always jump on that, don't we?
We have to.
I mean, there is the Mammoth Cave system in Kentucky. I don't know if it spreads anywhere near Maryland or the Virginias. I don't know.
These things don't need a whole hell of a lot of room to live. They don't need a 3-story fucking house.
Right. And if
they're
senses,
cat people, they're just bedding down.
They can see in the dark. They have acute senses of
smell. They are apex predators.
They're good at hearing. They will, if they're living in a cave, they will hear spelunkers a mile away and crouch into a little fucking cat cubby hole. So they walk by and leave them the fuck alone.
Dude, fucking
true.
Or kill a few if they go deep enough and everyone's gonna be like, oh, cave accident.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
See, there you go. Nightbreed explains it all.
Doesn't it always though?
It does.
God bless that movie. I wish they finished it.
I know. All right, moving on.
All right. So, to finish out Anonymous's take, I believe energy can't be created or destroyed, and when you die, you are dead, full stop. And fuck my life if Dump Catman is the closest thing to God I've actually seen. But I've been asking around about the recent history of this area and doing what research I can. This area has had many government military installations that claim to have been used mainly to intercept communications during the Cold War, and I visited the sites that are known, and there is absolutely no sites left except some earthworks covering a hole in the ground for a few of them. So yeah, a lot of those things do get torn down.
Well, yeah, I mean, if an old military installation.
We literally shot Peyton's Kung Fu movie in an old munitions factory for World War II, and hardly any of it stands.
Exactly.
And it was a concrete edifice.
Yeah.
And now it's just shambles. And it's been shambles since the 70s, long before the 70s, because that's when I was a very little kid and took my first walk.
No, it was still,
Yeah.
It was All
right.
Apparently, there was a military outpost on the mountain right behind us that was closed in the late 70s, early 80s, that was blocked off to everyone, had huge fencing and armed personnel patrolling the area 24/7, and the locals who lived there thought there was a bunker in the building, in the mountain, based on the dump truckloads of rock and dirt that traveled down the mountain road for years in the 70s. That is a telltale sign.
Okay.
If you see people carting out tons of earth and rock and you have no idea where from,
Yeah.
it's a dump. You deep underground military bunker.
Yeah,
The phrase.
dude, they're fucking digging, dude.
Hey,
you know what they're digging
R.I.P.
for?
Phil Schneider.
Yeah, dude, fucking digging for Catman homes.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
And don't forget the race of underground dwellers with their Mothman army planning on secretly taking over military bases, and that whole conspiracy John Keel and others
Yes!
uncovered.
Dude, this goes back to our first story.
The Moth.
It all ties together,
Mothman,
man.
Catman army.
There you go.
Honestly, if Catmen are prowling the streets, patrolling, prowling,
Yeah.
and fucking and the Mothman the skies,
Yeah.
and sundry other moth genders, I will fucking be losing my shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I don't want to go to
lot.
I don't want to go in the water for respite. Like I'm safe if I'm
no,
like
you can't go. We just
doggy
did,
paddling?
We just did the moist menageries
Exactly.
of
Yeah,
murky,
nobody wants that.
the
fucking-
Triton of Tanagra
of myrrh,
is gonna
yeah.
fucking ruin our fucking orgy bath.
Don't go to the water.
So you can't go to the goddamn water.
Stand
but
your-
the skies and the land are occupied now with cat fucks and fucking
Stand your
muffins.
fucking ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
So easy for you.
I'm here with you.
All right. So easy for me to stand
I'm
next
not
to you.
gonna fucking leave you.
Thank you.
I mean,
Chris won't participate.
I feel like it's a lot of effort.
I don't know.
All
man.
right.
I mean,
well,
we have a
use a
very big
blowgun.
military. We pay them for something.
okay. Well, we can bring
Something.
Them,
I mean, that's billions of dollars a
we
year.
can bring them in as well.
I think they'll deal with the moth and cat problem.
Okay. All right. Well,
Brutally, perhaps, in a
Okay.
way that isn't going to make us happy emotionally,
All right.
but will let us survive.
The human race will find a way.
USA. USA.
Nice. All right. Last couple paragraphs here,
Okay.
Bobby.
All righty. Behind the old base is thousands of acres of woods, and in front of the old base site is woods and orchards. I know I'm grasping at straws when escaped mutant government-funded catmen, yes, is the most logical explanation. I'm still digging in and can't believe I'm sharing this with anyone. If you have any thoughts or insights after your Catman podcast, I'd love to know. I'm keeping this message short because, like I said, I typed a novel of a message, then lost it. Something is out there, and I'm going to try to find out what, because if there is a beer or drink or bowl to smoke with Catman, I want in.
Oh shit!
You're in good company, sir.
Yeah, there
good
you
fucking
go.
company.
So the military aspect though is kind of interesting. Obviously, we always kind of
That goes right back to chupacabras.
I was going to say it goes back to into Puerto Rico. where
Melon heads.
We developed the chupacabra as like a fucking a weapon. Or
Montauk
something.
monster, on and on.
Montauk, yeah.
And yeah, there's crazy military bases on Long Island, and a lot of it turns into the the Montauk Mysteries, the Phoenix Project and the
Yeah.
Montauk Boys and all that, which we will do. That'll probably be one of our next epics. But I have to really psych myself up for that. I've got all the books I've been reading. I've invested the time and the money, but that's not the point. Table that for now. A lot of times military installations get blamed because why? They're highly secretive. They're using cutting edge technology.
Mm-hmm.
They have virtually unlimited resources, even though that's not always true. If it's a black budget thing, yes. But if
Right.
it's just a normal like science lab, they still have budgets and fucking things they have to, acknowledge to get more. But it still creates this air of mystery around it. Plus, we were all raised, you were born in 80. Chris and I were born in the 70s. You come of age with movies from that era, from the 50s on, to be taught that clandestine military bases are hiding secrets. Now, that stemmed from the very real horrors of biological warfare, radiological death from nuclear warfare. But it also, extends to things like the CIA's Project MK Ultra to like dose people. There are secret government programs that have hurt citizens in an effort to create a better killing machine, a better way of controlling the populace. So this paranoia, this parallax view style paranoia, definitely stems from a very real source, but it always kind of blends with like a 1950s style drive-in movie starring John Agar and Laurie Nelson where somebody's like, oh, it just, we created the lab to, scare those Reds back, and show them what for, and got out in Toledo and Foxville.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
So, do you remember the story about? I actually may have been Rome Air Base or somewhere over near Rome where they had those goats that they actually mixed with spiders.
Oh yeah, to make that special silk.
The Kevlar,
stronger than steel.
The Kevlar that they could actually take out of the goat's milk.
That's right.
So they're
Spider goats.
Yeah, spider goats.
We live in a world where that's not fiction.
No, but I mean, when you see a picture of the goats, you're like, oh, those are just goats.
Normal goats.
Yeah, they just happen.
No, it was a very small part of
if
spider.
the government is doing some kind of fucking weird gene splicing thing like that, what's not saying that somebody got a little fucking hooky pooky with it and decided to cut a cat and a man?
There it is.
You got a goddamn catman.
And that's where you get the legends.
I mean, that's if I had known about the military thing, that would have been my first fucking thing.
Yeah,
sure.
Oh yeah, no, this is what they're doing.
I mean, I'm with him on his. I'm with him on this. Like, you have these bases are right there. Like, that's the only one of the logical conclusions you can jump to is that that's the point of origin.
Guarantee, I would put any amount of money on it. That we are sponsoring parts of the U.S. government, definitely deeply clandestine, black budget parts of the U.S. government, are sponsoring some of these exactly batshit crazy experiments on huge boats in international waters where they are bound by nothing, under the umbrella of private corporations, so they can't be FOIA'd.
Yep.
And they are they're making spider wombats, they're making dumb shit to see if they can throw them at people and like blame China for or whatever. I know it goes deep, and now you start getting the crazy part where conspiracy stop being fun, but 100% they are trying to create things that will fuck you up. Most of them probably aren't practical monsters. Most of them probably bacteriological nightmares.
Right.
But every now and again, they're certainly looking to enhance the American soldier.
Dude, like super soldier, but it's a weird cat. How do you contain
Sees at night, super fast, smells really good, hears everything.
Oh, it is a perfect warrior.
The ultimate killing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can do all the taglines.
Optimally, they'd probably just want to make it look like a person, but with cat powers.
That would be better.
Ooh,
because the cyber wouldn't
cat.
be noticed instead of if you're walking around looking like
Like a
fucking Michael
furry.
Jackson from Thriller. That's people are gonna be like,
what the fuck?
Oh God,
the actual.
When I drew the dumb cat, I was trying to do like a shitty old version of Michael Jackson's Werecat.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Why does he go from zombie to werecat?
Well, the zombie part was the fantasy, the nightmare. The Werecat is the reality, and the nightmare begins anew.
Okay.
Well, it took me a long time to figure it.
Was the video made no sense.
Yeah,
because that was the movie they were watching.
That was the movie they were watching.
But then he was at the end, so I'm like, bitch, you need to fucking let me know.
Then he turns around.
Right.
Remember, because he turned around and
it's
with
the
eyes.
It's the trifecta nightmare.
So you're just like, well, wait a minute, why was?
Because I forgot that was the movie. Like fucking, I was a teenage werewolf with Michael Landon, except this time with Michael Jackson. But then the reality was, the dead will rise and you will dance with them. But wait, Michael Jackson died, but he didn't get killed.
No.
If he had been killed and the zombies had like come all on him, like and you saw a pile of ravenous zombies, and then a second later he gets up dancing, it would have made perfect sense. He just becomes.
He just becomes one.
Yeah.
So you're not in, strictly speaking, reality, as opposed to the fucking concrete, emotionally grounded version of Thriller that existed until then. But then Chris is right. At the end, it shows he's got the fucking yellow eyes.
Yeah,
and
he's the
ergo,
cat.
he has always been the cat.
Yeah, but it was
they were starring in their own goddamn movie. They should have recognized that,
right? But it was like a dream sequence, right? Because they're breaking in,
and she wakes up,
and she wakes up, and he's like, "Come on!" And then like they're on their way to the movie. I almost did a fucking impression. I'm like, "Come on,
Shamon!"
Right? So that just means that whole thing was a fucking
dream.
So
I figured it out because she was at home dreaming, waiting for her date with Michael Jackson. The first part of the dream is she's with him and the theater, and she's watching a movie of their life but transposed to the 50s.
Right, that's what it was a dream.
Familiar with the iconoclastic. I was a teenage werewolf, but she has a sense. She's been with him long enough. She's seen enough clues. She knows he's a werecat, but she can't admit it. But it manifests in her dream. Then the dream, inexplicably as dreams do, turn into a zombie nightmare where they're dancing and singing, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Then he wakes her up to go on the date, and she, in some place deep down, knows he's a werecat, and he confirms it by looking back and saying, "Bitch, I'm a werecat."
No, I'm actually the werecat.
You just made Thriller make sense to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's about time. It only took me years.
Yeah,
I watched
bothered
the
me for
making of
decades.
Thriller like 15 times.
Me too.
I've seen the making of Thriller. Yeah, totally. All right, so Michael Jackson's a cat man, and the government developed them as a weapon to use against our adversaries overseas.
And the government secretly financed the video of Thriller to indoctrinate people to accept the cat people. When they join the army, we know that they're on our side.
The corporate fucking media gets you to be okay with the fucking cat man because you're like, no, they're our soldiers.
Just makes sense.
Like, guys, remember Michael Jackson? You're like, no, motherfucker, that was years ago.
Well, and then he implodes, so they're like, well, shit, this is not the fucking look
then
we
his
want.
face gets all fucked up. Yeah. And now no one knows what to do.
Yeah.
And now our poor dude here, Anonymous, he's just living in a fucking little tiny town full of cat men.
who fucking can't be used in the active military service because of the stigma of Michael Jackson, and now are fucking left to predate on their own in fucking Maryland, West Virginia, and sundry other counties and cities.
God damn. All right, well, there you have it. So I guess the follow-up here would be like, you see it, you guys are out there, get some evidence, some hard-ass evidence. I don't want to say trap it. I'm going to say trap it.
Oh, my God. What, cardboard box and fucking steak?
I can get one of those bear trap things or whatever.
Oh, they will hurt the cat people. They haven't done anything yet.
Robert, how are we going to ever move cryptozoology ahead if we don't have, what do we need, Robert?
A body.
Okay, I'm not saying torture this thing and execute it. Okay, you're right. Maybe my bear trap is a little too far. Let's humanely trap it. Like get one of those those traps at work that we have where you catch all the groundhogs and the rats, then we go release them in the dump.
It's a big trap, though.
You could make one, though. You could easily make one.
You have to know how to fucking solder.
I mean,
I got a feeling this dude can trap one of these fuckers for sure.
All right.
Okay.
So you're putting it on him now.
Well, then
you want one of those net traps like you see in all the movies. That you step in it and it
like
gets
a net,
roped up.
or like a rope and like get you by the foot and then you hang it upside down. It's like trying to get you. Yeah, that's my cat man.
No, it's a great cat man.
Yeah,
your claw action was excellent.
If there's this population in this area, you can 100% get photographic evidence, video evidence, and or capture one.
Yeah, game trail the fuck out of that place.
Yeah. Exactly. Talk to local trappers. There's definitely trappers in the area. There's no fucking way that they haven't accidentally caught one of these things. There's no way.
You'd think you'd get rich if you acknowledged it. Why would you let it go?
But maybe they got scared.
Oh, yeah, that would happen too.
They remembered Thriller.
And there we go.
And they said, shit, we got to fucking let this
because
fucker
the
go.
scariest moment of that video is not the zombies, it's not the movie. It's when he looks back and you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now I'm dead.
I'm dead.
It's coming for me.
Yeah.
There it is.
And he looked at me the last time.
Yeah.
And I know he knows where I live.
Yeah.
And now I'm fucked too.
And
if she's fucked, I'm fucked, we're fucked.
The only thing that helped is that like one of his contacts was definitely off and they didn't feel like fixing
Yeah, definitely. He
Yeah,
had the
no,
lazy eye.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
All right, you know
Jesus.
what? I'm still traumatized. However,
Yeah.
I might be able to do a juke move.
yeah. If I go to the left, you might not be able to see it properly.
So there it is. There you have it. An official, I believe, a follow-up to our Wakamiko Catman story.
It's regional. It's same description.
It
Absolutely.
seems to fit to me. So.
I will count it. That's an official tick in the box of Mark Stores making connections.
There you go. If y'all got any more Catman connections out there, let us know. Maybe other people are experiencing this kind of stuff in the area.
I mean, dogmen popped up and showed up everywhere all at once out of the blue as if like they all dropped out of UFOs in like the fucking 90s or 80s. And they're like, hey, here we are. Never here before. Now we're here. We're all over. So let's see what the deal is with Catmen.
There it is.
It can't just be in this region.
No, I'm sure that there's well, then again, if they were developing those government facilities, maybe it is just that region. That's
true.
Because it was near the, like we stated previous, it was near the original site.
Maybe they were constructed to lure the dogmen away.
Oh, there you go.
Chase them back to Canada.
Dogmen versus Catmen. Thank you all so very much for joining us, the Cryptonaut Podcast. Evil Science and Magic Buddies Listener Stories Part 26. If you have an experience you'd like to share it with us, please feel free to email that over to us at cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you want us to use your name or if you want us to, remain anonymous or whatever. Include your story. The boys will discuss it here on the show. Robert, we have some shout outs to do for the good folks that support us over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. The $1 and the $5 tier there. $1 is the one bonus audio. $5 is the 4, possibly 5, sometimes 6, and both of those will get you access to the Discord.
Oh, God
which
bless.
is very important to get on. It's fucking awesome. Check it out.
They really are.
And the links for that obviously will be in the description of this podcast. If you don't want to remember what the hell did Mark say about Patreon, you can just go click the link and you can do it there. And yeah, bonus audios come out on Sundays, so you get a Sunday and a Monday with the boys.
Yep.
There you go. It's a good time.
Big fun.
Fucking end your week, start your week. There it is. Robert, let's do these shout outs.
Brad Reiser.
Thank you, Brad.
Gabe McDonald.
Thank you, Gabe.
Aiden Wagner.
Hell yeah, Aiden.
Cassie Allbritton.
Thank you, Cassie.
Might be Albrighton. I don't know. Allbritton, Albrighton.
Albrighton.
Yeah.
Cassie, you fucking
all the
rule.
time. And if it's something else, let us know.
Cassie, you're the best.
Jared Martinez.
Thank you, Jared.
Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the support.
Krista Cox.
Thank you, Krista.
Ethan Whited.
Thank you, Ethan.
Edgar.
But hell yeah, Edgar, what up?
Whimsical Magpie.
Oh, what a great way to end it. Whimsical Magpie.
Oh, it's so nice. It's
I
so
love
gentle and sweet, but a little dark edge. Magpies can swear at you.
Oh.
They can have a little,
Sure.
they can have a bit of an acid tongue.
But whimsical.
Yeah, but
they're
whimsical.
Yeah.
Softens the blow.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for your support over there. And again, that is patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. The social medias, boys, we're out there. We're doing it. The Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks and the MySpaces and the Napsters and the Linklins and all those other places that you'd go and do shit
Friendster.
at. Friendster, Threads.
Let's hit all the bases.
Hit us up in the socials, like, follow, comment. Hit me up in the DMs on the Instagrams. Me and the boys are there doing it. We appreciate that. We got some merch over there at TeePublic, which is available at hellerspace.com. We also got some merch over there at cryptonautmerch.com. Check all that merch out. I'm sure the holidays are here. I'm sure there's going to be more sales. There was the Black Friday. There was the Cyber Monday. There was all kinds of shit. But the links for that will be in the description of this podcast. You can go check it out. Do your thing over there. And yeah. That's it. Thank you all so very much for your continued support and showing up every week and listening to us. And again, we will be doing listener stories more often on a regular basis, probably 3 regular episodes. And then we're going to do a listener story. We'll figure out how we're going to do that exactly. But that's probably just going to be the schedule.
The 3-to-1 ratio just
3-to-1
makes
makes sense. Yeah.
Gives,
that way.
Gives a little time for Uncle Bobby to cool off the jets a little, work on some other projects that I need to get done. And also it gives us a chance to deal with, because this is the only time I get to come in here cold.
Well, and we can
be excited.
We can do more listener stories, and the listener stories are fucking awesome.
They are fantastic.
If you
I agree.
have an experience or an encounter or anything that you want to share with us, you're like, hey, I want the guys to cover this in the show. Again, please email that over to cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com. Send it over. We love hearing what you guys got out there. Y'all got some crazy fucking stories.
So true.
That would scare the fuck out of me and ruin me for the rest of my life. But, you know.
Yeah, some of them would definitely be deal breakers.
Yeah, 100%.
Like me in reality would get a divorce because this happened.
No, that bubble would burst. So be sure to send that in. We'll be doing more of these. Thank you all so very much, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Later.
Keep it cat, man.
That eagle that I encountered on Lake Ave was really threw me for a loop.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I mean, that thing was like hard as fuck.
Balls of steel.
Dude. And
I mean, they're hard.
It was crushing the squirrel. It was just, I could see its claws moving in and out like this. And it was just.
It wasn't a gentle massage.
While it locked eyes on me, it looked over my hood and saw me as I'm driving.
How many times do you get to make eye contact with an animal that's killing another animal?
Dude.
It's
crazy.
America.
You better watch your back.
Staring at you.
I was kind of nervous. I'm like, did anybody? I was down the road a little bit before I went on Metcalf. And I kind of stopped. And other cars were also going around it.
Sure.
Like, no one was going to fuck with that thing.
No, of course not. What are you going to get out, try to save the squirrel?
No, I mean, I'm kind of shocked it didn't get hit, honestly. But
right,
Lake Ave obviously
people speed.
It's pretty fast. But yeah, man, nature's a bitch, dude.
Oh yeah,
fuck,
it's ruthless.
Yeah,
I know.
That squirrel woke up not realizing that was going to happen to him.
No, he didn't.
No,
clutch some nuts, getting chilly.
Then America fucked him.
See you soon, boys.
America fucked him in the middle
America
of the road.
Swooped down and showed him what for.
Sure,
dude, that's what we do.
Sure,
yeah,
shit.
No, there's definitely a metaphor there.
Yeah, there it is. We'll be talking to you.
Back.
Peace.